to regular programming as we come to you live from the Brenzy Giao Convention Center in San Fernando, Pampanga. This is the home floor of our defending champions, the Giant Lanterns, who will look to achieve history against that man, LJ Gonzalez, recently crowned as the MPBL's Rookie of the Year for Season 6. Well, there is a giant in front of him. That is our first back-to-back season MVP of the league, Balti Baltazar, looking to exit on the highest of notes here in our beloved Maharlika Pilipinas Basketball League. Thank you so much for joining us as Pampanga will look to achieve history as the first franchise to get 2 titles in the league's young history. But the Quezon Huskers will look to extend the series back to Quezon Province with a potential game number 4 this coming Tuesday. Thank you for joining us, folks. This is Mix Gomez at your service alongside Javi Palanya. And Javi, all directions point toward the way of the Pampanga Giant Lanterns. Let's shine some light for the Quezon Huskers here. What potential do you see from this team that they can exploit in this matchup?
Well, you know, for this game, they have 2 players coming in, 2 players who did not play in the first 2 games, in Domark Matiliano and Mayor Mark Alcala. I possibly believe that these 2 guys can be the spark, especially from the outside, for the Quezon Huskers to try and prevent the Pampanga Giant Lanterns from winning back-to-back championships here. For the Quezon Huskers, the goal today is just to stop a sweep. Take it 1 game at a time for them to come back and hopefully win this game against the Giant Lanterns.
It's good that you mentioned Mayor Mark Alcala, obviously a crowd favorite back in Quezon Province, and Domark Matiliano, our Season 4 3-point king here in the MPBL. Now, let's introduce our first courtside reporter for tonight, in Mika Besamis. Kumustahin natin ang Pampanga Giant Lanterns?
You know, as historic as this could be for the Kapampangans, could be back-to-back champions, could be the first ever champions in their home court, this has a deeper meaning for Governor Delta Pineda. Sabi niya, Mika, matagal nang magkakadikit ang mga bitukan namin. Maaaring next year hindi na kami magkakasama. He was very emotional at sabi niya sa akin talaga daw importante sa kanya na manalo sila in front of the Kapampangans. This would be a huge blessing for him. And speaking of blessings, Mix and Javi, meron akong konting kwento sa inyo. I say konti kasi hindi ko pa pwede i-reveal ang destination. Pero sabi ni Goff, pag nanalo daw sila sa araw na to, dadalhin niya ulit sila sa ibang lugar. Sasakay sila ulit ng eroplano. And you know what? I keep saying this, this could really be good ingredient for motivation of a championship. Mix and Javi.
What a December it is for these Pampanga Giant Lanterns. You know, Javi, there hasn't been any shortage of team bondings for them all season long, but this could actually be a lot better as the Governor Delta Pineda could present one big-time Christmas gift for his Giant Lanterns. Let's talk about the previous game that happened in Dubai. It was a 19-point victory for Pampanga with hot 3-point shooting against Quezon.
Yeah, just like what happened in the first game, Pampanga was able to lead after the first quarter, but only by a close margin. It was actually in the second quarter kung saan sila nag-roll on once again. But in this game, they beat Quezon but with their own medicine. Winning it from the 3-point area, 13 out of 32 from the outside. If Quezon isn't able to counter this here in Game 3, this is going to be the same thing happening in this matchup, and they will possibly get the back-to-back rounds.
Well, 3-point shooting was key for Kurt Rayson in game number 2. He actually started in game number 1. He wasn't too comfortable with it. He said he was comfortable in game number 2. Thus, he scored 20 points.
You know, with Balti taking a back seat and Archie Concepcion struggling in this game with a sudden off night, Kurt Rayson really took over. And alam naman natin itong si Kurt Rayson, he is no stranger to the bright lights of Philippine basketball. But this is a new level for him in the pros, shining bright in the biggest of stages here in the MPBL. He was a key contributor in Game 1, had 8 points in that game, but really stepped it up in Game 2 with 20 points in really impactful plays throughout the matchup. And that was really key for Pampanga to be able to pull away in the second quarter, moving forward and winning Game 2 in Dubai.
20 points, 6 made 3-pointers. Those were season highs for Kurt Rayson. But the dominant numbers of this next guy was actually quite usual for us to see in game number 2. Balti Baltazar actually was another dominant player, obviously, among all of these Giant Lanterns. But we also have to talk about another guy who stepped up with his 3-point shooting in Raymond Binuya.
Yeah, this guy has been with the Pampanga franchise since day 1, and he has accepted his role all throughout his career. And if Pampanga can get big numbers from Raymond Binuya, then Quezon is really going to be in big trouble. Imagine only averaging 3.2 in the regular season and then stepping it up in the national finals in Game 2. 12 points in that matchup, 3 out of 4 from 3-point country. Just scintillating numbers off the bench para kay Raymond Binuya.
Raymond Binuya did tell me that being roommates with Balti helped him out in terms of his performance and asking the ball from Kurt Rayson in game number 2. Can he actually catch fire once more in game number 3? But that is the goal as well of this man, Jodel Fuentes, who has struggled from the field in the first 2 games of these finals.
Yeah, a total of 8 out of 36 from the field in the first 2 games. And I talked about non-negotiables for Quezon. I talked about this before, that Jodel Fuentes has to perform. If he doesn't put up the numbers, if he doesn't produce, then Quezon will definitely have a big chance of losing. And that's what happened in the first 2 games. Only 8 points in game 1, 12 points in game 2. He caught fire late in that game, but still the 3-point shooting still very much a struggle para dito kay Jodel Fuentes. He has to be able to set the tone para dito sa Quezon Huskers para naman hindi nasasayang yung production ng ibang players tulad ni Rodel Gravera and ni Jason Opiso.
You know, we want to congratulate the Fuentes family because they recently had their new son in Gaius Mateo. So congratulations to Jodel and Kay. The problem is, sleep hasn't been present for Jodel Fuentes. So kamustahin din natin siya through Andrea Indiso and of course the status of Gab Banal as well here in the finals.
After missing 2 of the biggest games para sa Quezon Huskers, Kapitan Gab Banal is still not suited up for tonight's Game 3 because he is still nursing his groin strain. And yes, he is here for that locker room presence and leadership. Pero iba pa rin daw talaga when you are inside the court and contributing. On the other hand, I was able to talk to one of their main men in Jodel Fuentes who seemed to be struggling for the past 2 games. At nabanggit niya nga sa akin na the moment that the plane landed here in the Philippines, ang unang-una niya raw ginawa ay tawagan ang kanyang pamilya in Davao. As we all know, calls are restricted in Dubai. And the moment that his wife picked up, ang unang mga kataga na lumabas sa kanyang bibig ay sorry. Sorry na ganun lang ang ipinakita ko. Although hindi naman daw siya sinisisi ng team for the losses, pero alam niya daw sa sarili niya na hindi daw yun yung Jodel Fuentes na kilala natin. So with that family call at yung walang sawang tiwala sa kanya ng team, hopefully something would spark in Jodel tonight. Mix and Abby.
In terms of the shooting percentages of Jodel Fuentes, obviously they were not impressive. In the season, he averaged 36% efficiency from the field, but it was only 22% in games 1 and 2. That included 3 out of 24 from downtown. So can today be different? He did get some inspiration already back with his family here in the Philippines. We are now ready to turn you over to Miguel Perey to get things going for game number 3.
Starting at center, number 55, Christian Bunyag. Forward number 5, Simon Sandagon. Also at forward number 17, Jason Opiso. 2 guard number 29, Alvin Abundo. And at 1 guard number 13, the MPBL Rookie of the Year, LJ Gonzalez. Head coach for the Quezon Huskers is Eric Gonzalez. Assistant coaches Richie Tixon, Nash Rosella, Ed De La Torre, Luis Velasco, Jonathan De Guzman, and Bernard De Guia. Team managers Attorney Don Capunan. Team owners are Governor Helen Tan, Congressman Mike Tan, and Mayor Ralph Lim. And now, mga kaliga, get on your feet, cause it's time to meet the starting unit of your MPBL reigning and defending champions, your Pampanga Giant Lanterns AMG 3 Construction. Power forward number 8, Jamo Aguilos. Also at forward number 2, from Suklaban, Mexico, the Royal Bazooka, Archie Concepcion. 1 guard, number 11 from Angeles City, MJ Garcia. 2 guard, number 18 from Apalit, Pampanga, Encho Serrano. And the man in the middle, number 19, Apalit and Mabalacat Pride, your MPBL back-to-back MVP, Justin Baltasar. The Giant Lanterns, stand-by Pedic Di Matulak, team consultants Alan Trinidad and Mervin Mercado. Assistant team managers are Ronald Dulud and Raymond Guevara. Team manager and team owner is Aurelio A.G. Gonzalez III. Reference for this ball game are Crew Chief Benjoy Stroga, Umpire 1 Lester Arcega, and Umpire 2 Jackson Navarro.
Presenting the starters in game number 3 for these Quezon Huskers. They will still play it big with Sandagon, Opiso, Bunyag, Gonzalez, and Abundo. So 3 natural 4s and 5s in their front line to try to counter Jamo Egilos and Balti Baltazar, who will be joined by the returning Encho Serrano, MJ Garcia, and Archie Concepcion. Thank you for joining us, folks. This is Mix Gomez at your service alongside Javi Palanya, Mika Bisamis, and Andrea Endicio. Our founder, Senator Manny Pacquiao, joins us as well here at the sideline of Pampanga. Back to regular programming for these MPBL National Finals. The tip-off for Christian Bunyag and our 2-time most valuable player, Balti Baltazar, just won it. It's a 3 missed by Encho. Rebound to Opiso.
Enzo Serrano coming back from a suspension in Game 2 due to his being thrown out in Game 1, starting this game. And para naman dito sa Quezon Huskers, they're bringing Judel Fuentes off the bench.
Abundo. Opiso for 3. Jason unable to convert. And here come the Lanterns. Garcia. He hasn't missed a game all season long. That's alongside Archie Concepcion and Renz Alcoriza. Perfect attendance in Season 6. Archie, the spin. Tough move. Opiso with a nice stop.
Defense will be very important here, especially in the first quarter para sa Quezon Huskers. Alam naman natin that Pampanga has not lost here at the Brenzigiao Convention Center since last year and have not lost in this season's playoffs.
They are 15-0 in MPBL Season 6 at home, including a home victory against Quezon in the regular season. But that actually happened inside the AUF gym in Angeles City. Baltazar kicks it out. MJ for 3. That's an air ball. The crowd is roaring here in Pampanga.
But you could see the frustration of Coach Eric Gonzalez from that Quezon sideline. He wants every 3-point shot challenge, whether it be MJ Garcia, Kurt Rayson, or Encho Serrano taking that shot. He wants all 3-point shots challenge due to the fact that Pampanga was scorching hot from the outside in Game 2.
There's a foul on the drive by our Rookie of the Year, LJ Gonzalez. This man has averaged close to 10 points per game this season, but shut down in the finals. Obviously, that foul by Encho Serrano did not help out, as LJ only played 5 minutes in game number 1. He only took 1 shot at 0 points. In game number 2, he was 1 out of 9 with 2 points in 22 minutes of play.
Well, with more time to rest, hopefully LJ can be back to his usual self in this game, especially here playing away at the Brenzigiao Convention Center. His presence will definitely have to be felt by the Quezon Huskers. Alam naman natin that a lot of the games during the regular season and in the playoffs, especially in the division finals, it was LJ who sparked big wins para sa kanilang kupunan.
The goal is to have game number 4 back at Quezon Province this coming Tuesday. If there's a game 5, it will happen Friday next week. That's a miss by Abundo, and here comes Archie. 2 minutes gone by. Pampanga still scoreless. Baltazar hands it off. Concepcion. Pull up. Short. Bunyag recovers. Here and pass there, but still, Quezon has possession. Gonzalez. On to Sandagon. 2 all-stars for Quezon. Back up to LJ. 10 on the shot clock. 2-man game. Shut down. Bounce pass to Opiso. It's a steal.
Both teams playing spectacular defense to start this game. Makes nahihirapan pumuntos galing sa field ang parehong kupunan dito. The only point scored in this game was that free throw earlier by LJ Gonzalez.
He
We're
did
already 3
mention,
minutes in.
he did mention about the defense that you'd want to see from the Huskers, as there's a foul on that drive by Archie Concepcion. Andre already told us that Gabonal will not be present here in game number 3. That's why it is safe to say, dehado na naman ang Quezon when it comes to their offense. Gabonal is their #1 playmaker in terms of assists. That's why, in the words of LJ Gonzalez, if there's anything that they can rely upon, it is their defense. Hindi ka pwede maging dehado sa depensa.
Exactly. You know what coaches say, walang malas sa depensa. All you have to do is put the effort in and make sure that you are able to execute your schemes on the floor. Very important dito ang communication, especially with a venue this loud. You have to be able to find a way to make sure all your teammates are on the same page and every possession on the floor.
Archie Concepcion averaging 12.5 points in these finals at 79% free throw shooting. Just converted on his first. Pampanga is now on the board. Our all MPBL second team selection has made 2 free throws to kick things off for our Giant Lanterns. Gonzalez. Pinapalabas, Jodel Fuentes. Jodel stepping back. No good. The struggle continues for him. Rodel Gravera also makes his first appearance after being the top scorer in Game 1 for Quezon. Gonzalez, 5 to work with. LJ will shoot. That's too strong, and here comes MJ. They go to Archie, a three-pointer. Bombs away!
Yeah, this has what has worked for Pampanga all season long. The formula of turning defense into offense. Gravera there misses. You see the individual defense makes. Everybody does a good job of staying in front of their man, especially the guards of Pampanga. Whether it's LJ Gonzalez handling the basketball or Jodel Fuentes, they're able to get in front, and on kickouts, they're able to challenge the shot.
This three-point shot is brought to you by Extreme One-Stop Shop Appliances. That's Archie Concepcion delivering the goods. He had 17 points in game number 1, but he did not reach double figures in game 2. He has all the 5 of Pampanga so far. 3 on the shot clock. Gonzalez attacking LJ with a pass, and Quezon was not aware of the time.
For 3 straight possessions now, Pampanga has forced Quezon to go deep into their shot clock, and on this latest one, naputukan sila ng 24-second violation. You could see that despite the initiation of the offense by LJ Gonzalez and Jodel Fuentes, walang nangyayari. Pampanga has not let up defensively.
5-1, Balti against Sandagon. Hand off to Encho. Serrano saw an opening. Serrano fades. No good. And a tip in for our back-to-back most valuable player.
The thing going up against Pampanga is, yes, you force a missed shot, but you have to be able to box out and prevent second, third, fourth chance opportunities by the other Pampanga players. That time, Balti Baltazar able to clear it para sa Giant Lanterns after this missed shot by itong si Enzo Serrano.
The first tip actually came from Jamo Eguilos, who is the 3rd best rebounder in this season for Pampanga, averaging close to 6 per game. But you also can't forget about Balti, who averages 16 rebounds per outing. Here he is once more. Baltazar is fouled.
I really love the combination of the Quezon Huskers on the defensive side to start the game. But because they have been having trouble generating offense, Coach Eric Gonzalez was forced to bring in Jodel Fuentes and Rodel Gravera early with 3 minutes only gone by in the first quarter. The problem with that is defensively, lumiit naman sila.
Now this would make it even more interesting. Felipe Marasigan is in to provide size for these Quezon Huskers, which means that either Francis Tamsi or Jodel Fuentes is now the point guard of Quezon.
Well, let's see how this works for Coach Eric Gonzalez and company as he looked at the family of Justin Baltazar, always in support of their MVP.
That's his famous son Zeus, who we saw in the awarding ceremony a while ago. He actually took the spotlight away from his father as he received his 2nd straight season MVP award here in the MPBL. Once again, Pampanga is on top, 8-1. This timeout is brought to you by the MPBL Party List ng Kaliga ng Mamamayang Pilipino.
Senator, our beloved MPBL Thunder,
Back at the Brenzigiao Convention Center, I will give you 4 things out of the many achieved goals of Governor Delta Pineda in Dubai. Number 1, winning game 1 and 2. Number 2, nakilala ang mga Kapampangan sa Dubai. Number 3, nakasama niya ang players in a different environment. Mas nakilala pa niya sila. Number 4, this is my favorite. He said the 4th one, after Encho got suspended, kinausap ko si Encho, accident man ang nangyari, dapat maingat, wala dapat masasaktan at mananakit. At ngayon, bati na daw sila ni Encho. Ginawa na niyang mascot sa labas ng venue sa Dubai, taga-entertain ng fans. But you know what, Migs, Javi, despite all of these achievements, he asked everybody to watch out for the hot hands of Judel and LJ. Respect those boys. Alam niyo naman, lumalabas sa 4th quarter ang mga talents niyan. Migs and Javi.
Those are the clutch players, after all, in this season for the Quezon Huskers. Governor Dennis Delta Pineda already is manifesting back-to-back championships for our Pampanga Giant Lanterns in the MPBL. And this is the time for them to do so because Balti is leaving. We have to remember that this could actually be his last game if Pampanga wins. That's a sorry miss for Sandagon.
Yeah, that's right. You know, we are experiencing the last moments of Balti Baltazar here in the MPBL, and he may go down as the greatest of all time dito sa Liga ng Bawat Pilipino.
Balti, no bounce for him. Offensive rebound. Kick out by MJ, and here comes Encho, the former mascot of Pampanga, attacking. And he got fouled.
Enzo Serrano trying to be aggressive here early. Not coming off the bench just like he did in Game 1. Starting this game para kay Governor Delta Pineda to try and really help Pampanga pull away early, because we know that in the first 2 games, Quezon was able to keep in step with the Giant Lanterns, and it was only in the second quarters of both matches na nakaarangkada ang Pampanga Giant Lanterns. But here, leading by 7 already with 4:41 to go in the first quarter and limiting Quezon to only a point.
The overall second quarter scoring in the series is 48-29, a plus 19 for these Lanterns. They certainly were aware of your point, Javi, as it is a nice start. Archie unable to add to the tally, and this is Rodel Gravera on the move. Almost a counter steal. MJ still fighting for it, and they complete it. Outlet. Scramble, recovery by Quezon. Fuentes onto Gravera. Hand off to Tamsi. Francis back to Rodel. That's a turnover.
Poor decision right there by Al Francis Tamsi coming off the 2-man game with Rodel Gravera. He had an open lane to the basket but still opted to go for the pass to the right kay Gravera, which was picked up by the Pampanga defense.
4 minutes remaining in the opening quarter of Game 3. Archie dancing. Bounce pass, Egilos, pull up, no good.
That's a shot you want Jamo Egilos taking if you're the Quezon Huskers. Out of the 2-man game, you want to prevent a roll by the much bigger Jamo Egilos.
Fuentes on the other end, working with Sandagon. Jodel will fire. That's no good. Still no field goal for these Huskers.
And Fuentes, 0 out of 2 on both of his jump shots here in the first quarter. That was a good look, and we've seen a lot of good looks from Fuentes here in the final series. It's just really a matter of making those shots.
Here's Brandon Ramirez, our best player in game number 1. The best player of game 2 is also in Kurt Rayson. Fuentes back at it. Pinapalabas, Francis Tamsi. Tamsi attacking. He's fouled. 2 free throws.
Tamsi has the height advantage over Kurt Rayson, but he is also able to use his speed despite being much taller. Here you see him, little fake on the left side, going into the middle, using Rayson's aggressiveness defensively against him to pick up a foul, and now he will take 2 shots.
Defensive aggression against Francis Tamsi could be a key though, because this guy is still not at 100%. Remember, he had to recover from an Achilles injury, and up until this moment, he's not yet even at 80%.
Yeah, that's correct. But you know, this guy is a shot maker. This guy can make big plays and he can come alive. He did in Game 2. So now in Game 3, his presence will be much more needed. You saw his averages there on your screens earlier, 9.5 points. So this might just be the game where he can play his biggest moment of the series.
MJ, catch and shoot. No good. That's off of Balti, who was pleading for a hold by Christian Bunyag. Bunyag, by the way, hasn't been used all season long by these Quezon Huskers, but anytime they go up against a very tall big man, he's usually the answer for Quezon.
You could just imagine, Mix, if Will Gozum were here for Quezon, if they were in full strength together with Gab Banal, this would have been a very different series.
Bunyag has only played half of the total games of these Huskers, 19 out of 37. That's a miss by MJ and a loose ball foul on a certain Husker. It's by Rodel Gravera.
It's going to be much easier for Quezon to keep in step with the Giant Lanterns in this game. If the Giant Lanterns continue to miss from the outside, three-point shots have not been falling, mid-range shots have also not been knocked down by the Pampanga players so far here in the first quarter.
2 minutes and 37, Baltazar. Concepcion, our mythical team selections. Working with Binuya, Rayson, and Ramirez. Raymond bounces. Balti, 2 to work with. Binuya, the homegrown, could not convert. Rebound, Baltazar. No foul. Another tip, and Balti scores.
You see how that turned out, Mix. You see how that played out. They were trying to out-jump Balti. That's not how you box out a Justin Balti Baltazar. You're gonna have to put the body on him. 1-2 guys maybe. Tapos dapat may umabang na isa pa to get that rebound.
5 points for Archie, 5 points for Balti. But Mr. Baltazar already has 7 rebounds in this game. This rebound of the game is brought to you by the MPBL party list ng Kaliga ng Mamamayang Pilipino. If you guys were impressed by the MVP numbers of Balti, 16 points, 16 rebounds, and 6 assists in the regular season. Well, in these finals, his averages are 19 points, 18 rebounds, and 7 assists.
It's just crazy how much he has evolved his game. And actually, it's not just in the numbers, Mix. It's not just in his play on the floor, but also the leadership.
Yes.
I mean, this is a guy who was very soft-spoken in college and in the early years of his professional career. But he was given a challenge by Governor Delta Pineda that he had to be much more vocal for the Pampanga Giant Lanterns to get back-to-back crowns.
LJ Gonzalez got hurt off of that previous drive. We did see a bit of bleeding, but nothing too concerning, as now he just misfired on his first free throw. And by the way, in terms of being hurt, that has been the story for LJ Gonzalez. Even stretching back to his FEU days, I've been telling you guys that he's had this right foot problem. He also had this Charlie Horse quad problem off of that Negros series. And then, of course, that Encho Serrano hit in game number 1 that allowed him to have an injury on his head. And guess what? A couple of days ago, he tweaked his ankle.
It's just a pity for a guy as talented as LJ. You know, the problem is, yung kanyang laro, it really entails a lot of physicality being entertained because he gets into the lane so much. And that's why a lot of players defensively have to really rough it up on him to stop him.
And he doesn't even play like he's injured, as now there's a miss and a loose ball foul. That's by a Giant Lantern. It's by Lervin Flores.
Quezon has to capitalize on this stretch where Justin Baltazar is on the Pampanga bench. This could be something that they could use to make a run of in the last 1 minute and 27 of this first quarter. A much smaller Pampanga front line on the floor. Quezon is slightly taller than them with Lervin Flores manning that 5. But the width of the Pampanga front line still very much present with Brandon Ramirez on the floor for the Giant Lanterns.
And by the way, the minutes of Balti on the bench, that doesn't usually last long. His average is 32 minutes played. That's 80% of the entire game in these finals. Bunyag at the line. Quezon still with 0 field goals. Another free throw conversion. Let's see the free throw shooting of Quezon in their first 2 games. In game 1, they were 3 out of 9. 33%. In game number 2, 11 out of 18. 61%.
They're going to have to do much better in this game. They've gone to the line a few times already here in the first quarter, but some misses by LJ Gonzalez and Jodel Fuentes as well as Christian Bunyag have prevented them from keeping this one much closer.
A miss by Archie. Rebound Opiso. He goes to Abundo. Abundo is actually the leader left for these Huskers because Gab Banal is not present on the floor. The good thing is Gab is here inside the Brenzy Giao Convention Center. But that's a steal and a breakaway layup for Raymond Binuya.
Now, I don't understand. Quezon, on that previous half-court set, Abundo was the one who set up the play, was asking for a pick from RJ Minerva. Jason Opiso, it's a big-time three-point shot for the Huskers. They're just not as locked in as they should be. We talked about how teams should play against Pampanga. You should play perfect basketball or near perfect basketball throughout the 40 minutes.
Now let's see if that first field goal of Quezon can actually boost them. It's a turnover for Pampanga. Renz Alcoriza will now make an appearance. This will be game number 37 for Renz. Same goes for Archie and MJ Garcia. As I mentioned, they haven't missed a single game in our campaign. Couple of subs. Topping Lagrama, the former Giant Lantern, is now in. It's just unfortunate that he was unable to be a part of that championship run last year by Pampanga. 13 seconds. This is a mismatch for Jodel Fuentes. Can he dance against Lervin? Fuentes lost the ball momentarily. 3 seconds. Jodel in trouble. Step back, tough shot. That's no good. And Quezon will finish the first quarter with only one made field goal. Pampanga is up by 4.
The ball seems to be a little bit slippery here. Maybe they could try and change that, but that was excellent defense nonetheless by Lervin Flores, staying front of Jodel Fuentes. There you see LJ Gonzalez once again got hurt here in the first quarter, and it's been very difficult for the Huskers to manufacture a field goal in this entire period.
Balti Baltazar, no problem for him on the other end. Well on pace for another double-double. Well, there has been no shortage of double-doubles in the season for him. He's at 28 out of his 32